but here's Garlips once again with Mr. Blobby. Enjoy this beautiful run, introduce yourself, and start whenever you like.
Thank you so much. Welcome back, everybody. So this is Mr. Blobby. For anyone who doesn't know what Mr. Blobby is, hang on 1 second. There we go. I'll show you the start screen. This is Mr. Blobby. He is from British people's childhood, basically the early 90s. He was part of a TV show, and he would crash through the walls. He would basically slapstick comedy, beating people up, gunging people. He was like this kind of eldritch abomination that somehow was allowed to be on TV, the chaotic neutral at its core. Since then, things have been pretty quiet on the Blobby front, but he's now having a bit of a resurgence. So I thought now is the perfect time to pick up this game, which is Mr. Blobby for DOS, released in 1994. It is a reskin of another game called Troll Island. Basically, they rushed it out the door with a Blobby license because they were like, oh, kids will buy this for Christmas, and they did. Not. In their droves. So what I'm going to be doing for you today is, first I'm going to show you what used to be the any percent. When I submitted this game, the any percent was 9 minutes long. Now, the any percent is 7 minutes long, and, sorry, the old any percent is 7 minutes long, and the new any percent is 40 seconds long. Okay? So, I've got time to do both. So, let me get my code ready here. So what we do with Mr. Blobby, the usual way we do any percent and what's called any percent creamless, which is the which is the category I'm going to run for you now. We use a code to skip to the last level. This game has 60 levels. Yes, there is an all levels category. Yes, it takes 3 hours. I don't want to talk about it. So here we go. Time begins. I don't think time has begun yet. That's okay. I forgot to count down the timer. I'm going to reopen this 1 second. You'll get to see the intro as well, so that's fine.
Yeah, let's start over real quick.
Sorry.
That's fine. That's something on our end. I don't know what's currently like broken with the layout. I assume Jugachi is looking into it.
So something is completely broken with the overlay. So all good.
Okay, no worries. I will do a big countdown this time as well. Right. So time will begin when I put in the last letter of this code. Ooh, whoops. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So, this is the any percent creamless. Basically, this is completing the last level as fast as possible using what I would deem legitimate means, or not glitching, basically. So in Mr. Blobby, you have to paint the level. Specifically, you can paint the whole level, but what you really need to do is you need to fill in these things we call gates or windows. And what you can see me doing now is just trying to do that as efficiently as possible, as quickly as possible. So, right now Mr. Blobby is wearing a fez. He doesn't usually, but the fez gives him the power of an elongated jump, which is very useful. Mr. Blobby can also take damage. That's what the little cake in the bottom right is about. If that becomes completely depleted, Mr. Blobby gets sent back to his house, and you have to choose from either Mrs. Blobby or Baby Blobby. They are the otherworldly portals to his homeworld, exactly. So, fun fact, this run, we have to take a death, because Mr. Blobby has a mechanic where if you do certain things in certain levels, you get a bonus level. And we don't actually want a bonus level to happen, because it will add on extra time that we don't want to use. So, we won't be doing that. We'll be taking an intentional death, because I'm pretty sure the bonus level on this level only occurs if you do it in one life. So, we'll be taking a deliberate death at one point. There's also a mechanic in Mr. Blobby where once you complete the level, it will spit out a bunch of pieces of fruit and and what have you, these edible items that I've been picking up along the way. And it gives you a whole 30 seconds to do that as well. And we don't want that either. That's also 30 seconds that we could have for ourselves to go faster. So what we'll be doing... Oops, sorry, just concentrating a second. What we'll be doing is we'll be eating and using all of the items in the level so that when we get to the end point and those level items appear, once we eat those, the level will just immediately end. It will fade to black. Otherwise, we'd have to wait another 30 seconds. So yeah, this game, weirdly, I've put a lot of time into this game, but so have some other very dedicated people who understand that Mr. Blobby is love, Mr. Blobby is life. It's actually quite a contested run now, which I really like, because when you create the board for a game, you're kind of like, you sat there by yourself, Billy No Mates, like, someone please run my game. And I'm incredibly thankful that some people have actually taken up the mantle, because Mr. Blobby is weird, but it turns out people like weird, so it works. Right, so we've just done all of the bottom of the level now. I do have an order that I do this in that kind of like makes it as quick as possible. We're going to bounce in here. So I just do this level in a very specific way so that it gets coloured in. Like some of it gets coloured in as I go, and other parts of it get coloured in as I come back. So it you kind of do 2 laps. That's a clock. We're going to throw that over there. The clock gives you back a Blobby life. Basically, it means that when you go back to the Blobby house, instead of one of the Blobbies being asleep, they will be awake. But we don't want to use the item because going back to the Blobby house takes time. So we want to throw the item at an enemy and that will destroy the item, meaning that when we complete the level, we won't have that 30-second time wait. Because all of these items you can pick up and use, most of them are score. They only add score to your score. Can also be thrown as items, which is useful. Mr. Blobby also has a spin, which you might see towards the end of the run. While you're in the spin, you can't colour in ladders. You can still colour in horizontal floor, but you can't colour in ladders, so I only use it sparingly. But it does destroy enemies on touch. So there's the clock, and I'm going to throw it at an enemy. Boom, gone. You might have also noticed I've been throwing cream pies at enemies. That's Mr. Blobby's method of attack. And you can... basically, if an enemy will hurt you if you touch them, unless you throw a cream pie at them, then they become kind of in a destroyable state. Hell yeah, weird games. We are used to weird games. Oh, I love WarioWare. WarioWare's great. If we could get a Mr. Blobby style WarioWare game, that would be incredible. It truly would. So, basically, this is just a lot of memorization and practice, basically. And if you see me making a weird movement, it's only because it saves me some time or what have you. So what I'm going to do now is the next enemy, I'm going to deliberately let them hit me, because we still need to take that death, remember? So now I'm at 1 health. Coming into the last main area of the... Oh, okay, I took a death. That's fine. It's meant to happen. The only interesting thing is sometimes it really changes up where you get spawned in. So I'm just hoping it's going to spawn me close to where I was. It did. That's a good spawn. So this is the twirl. I've used it to destroy some of the enemies here, so that make my job a little bit easier, because we don't want to take a death now. We absolutely do not. So... And that yeah sound happens every time you fill in a gate, so you can actually kind of use that sound. You don't even have to look to see if you finish the gate, because you get a yeah. Right, we're coming up on the end of this run here. Probably, I guess, about a minute away. Depends on how quickly I do this. So that should be all of them. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to do a little spin here, because while you're spinning, you can also walk over spikes without getting hurt. The only problem is, if you touch a cloud, the spin will end. But that's fine, no clouds came. These are the last 2 gates of the run. They definitely should be the last 2 gates. Sometimes you get here and you're like, now the level ends, and it doesn't end, and you're like, what? What did I forget? But it's fine. Here are the items that I talked about. So time is coming up. Yep, and I've used all the items. Perfect, right. And time is coming up. And time. So that is any percent creamless. It used to be the any percent, but now, because we've got a couple of minutes before the end of my run, I was going to just give it a shot to try and do the any percent for you guys. So the any percent, we found a glitch where if you combine 2 items together in a specific way at a specific time, you warp to a bonus level that completes the game for you, or completes the level. And because you're on the last level, you get to the end. It's a bit glitchy, but it is the new any percent. It is the new world record. So I'm going to give it a go here. If you want to reset the timer, this should only take about, if I get it first time, it should only take about a minute. If that.
Okay, if we're going serious mode. Okay, 1 second. I'll reset the timer. And I would be ready now.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll count us down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, begin. This is consistent enough that I've done it blindfolded. There is a blindfolded percent on the board, but you've got to be oddly specific here. So here we go. No, right, didn't get it. That's fine. We've got a couple of goes at it. I would probably just leave the timer running, because technically it is taking me the time to pull off the run. Right, here we go. If I don't get it after a couple of attempts, I'll stop. The timing is like literally down to the hundredths of milliseconds, and that was, I think, a bit too late. So I'll keep going. I've not played Kirby Superstar, but the item mixing can get a bit broken in this game, and I'm presuming it's kind of like that. So we throw the apple. There we go. This should be it. If I'm dropped in the library, if it's Gunge, we've got a problem. Nope, we're in the library. So this is the library. It only takes 30 seconds for this bonus level, but we're going to complete it quicker, because once you complete all the items, the level ends. And time. And the Blobby family have glitched out, and I can move them around the screen. But that's the new any percent. So, I mean, if any of you were in 2 minds about joining up the Blobby board, maybe that will give you the incentive you need, because it only takes a minute and it's done. Right, so I'll say all my pieces and let us move on with the next run. So, hello, my name is Garlips. It's been a pleasure to run at Themeathon today. Thank you for having me for both my runs. You can find me at twitch.tv/Garlips. Also, I believe there's going to be a code coming up for there it is, for the Wheel of Struggle Discord. So the Wheel of Struggle is a really cool group that I'm a part of, and we play video games every week. You should check it out. It's really cool. That's it. But thank you so much for being here. It's very early in the morning where I am, so I appreciate everyone who's decided to stop by and watch. Please continue to support the event throughout the day, and thank you again for having me, and I hope to be back at the next one. Take care, everybody.